Assalamu alaikum everybody, hope y'all are doing well. Inshallah everyone's doing well because hashtag LNT and its crew are doing well. Episode 8, episode 9 of hashtag LNT coming your way with your favorite man and favorite host Ahmed Ali. The late night talk tonight will be lit, as the topic tonight should be a very important topic for parents especially, and for those who are affected by what we're talking about. But I'll tell you guys very soon. But before that, I want the producer to hit us with what's trending. So let's go and do that. Hit us. Once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, we're back with the besties. Trumpy and Jumi, Janguni, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. Now, Trump has canceled the meeting that was supposed to happen next month in Singapore, and he wrote a letter to Kim Jong-un, and this letter was announced by the White House. Now, in this letter, it says, Donald Trump says, "I was very much looking forward to being there with you. Sadly," subhanAllah, these guys have a very nice relationship, but sadly, based on the tremendous anger and open hostility displayed in your most recent statement, I feel it's inappropriate and at this time to have this long planned meeting. Therefore, please let this letter serve the represented that the Singapore summit for the good of both parties, but to the struggles of the world will not take place. Now, this was the first time that Donald Trump, or this would have been the first time that Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un ever met. So it would have been nice, but you know, he had to cancel it. Anyways, the second thing we have for you guys today, or the second news item, if I will, for what's trending, in the city of Hamburg in Germany, they're disallowing, so they're not allowing any car to be driven from next week. Diesel cars, they're not allowed anymore to be driven in Hamburg. Why? Because they're trying to reduce air pollution. Now, Germany does care about the air of all citizens. That's why they have protesters against that. People saying that, you know what, we want free air, free of pollution, free of any sort of pollution within it. And that's great. That's great. I hope all the countries do the same thing as well, but they should replace it with something else. Like, gas also pollutes, but I don't know. These guys probably do the research. Anyways, now we're done with what's trending. Let's go and jump into tonight's topic. Now, adolescence is the transition from being a dependent child to an independent teenager or young adult. Now, the teen, and as everyone knows, goes through a physical as well as a mental change at the stage where he prepares himself for being an adult. And in that case, he starts acting like an adult. He starts even imitating adults and their behaviors and their bad habits at the same time. However, during this time, teens make irrational and thoughtless decisions. Whatever crosses their development, or whatever crosses their developing mind, they're gonna go and do it ASAP. Why? Because they have to experiment. Their curiosity increases. They have to go check out what, you know, their friends are doing, what their parents might be doing, or what even their parents' friends might be doing at the same time. Now, believe it or not, the average age of substance use starts from between the age of 13 to 14 years old. This is sad, but true. I mean, our youth are developing dangerous habits, dangerous and addictive habits at the same time, which not only can ruin their lives, but it can end it. You know, there's a lot of news. There are a lot of news telling us that specific drugs or substance abuse that are ending youth life, whether in parties, whether they're given a pill, roofies, such drugs, I was going to talk about later on in the show, they end people's reputations, they end people's lives, and at the same time, they ruin the family's reputation, especially if you're coming from a Middle Eastern or a Muslim background. But what do you guys think is the motive behind teens taking drugs? And that's what brings us to tonight's question. So in 3, 2, 1, hit it. In 3, 2, 1, hit it. All right, good. Why do teens take drugs? This is your question for tonight. Basic question. Why do teens take drugs? Let us know at this number right here via WhatsApp. +964 774 067 1836. That's what you guys need to do right now. And let us know about tonight's question. Now, all participants, whoever participates in this Ramadan series, so we have 21 episodes left to Eid. Whoever participates in these live shows, their names will be written down on this slip and will be placed in this bowl right here for a chance to win a free trip to Karbala on our house. Now we are also live on Facebook, so you can go check that out at the same time. Give that like, give that share, and comment, because your comment, if you're answering the question, not Salam Ya Hussein, not Salam Ya Hussein. If you're answering the question and giving your opinion, your name will be written down on this, and it will be placed in this bowl for a chance to win a free ziyarah. At IMAM HUSSEIN TV, that's on Facebook. We're live on there right now, but we'll take a very short break and we'll be back very short, so do stay tuned. Now, once again, we do welcome everyone for joining us tonight. Hashtag LNT, the late night talk with your favorite man, Ahmed Ali, is back again live from the holy city of Karbala. And tonight we're talking about a very important topic. A very important topic that we're talking about today. And we're talking about, why do teens take drugs? Teens and drugs. Why do they resort to drugs? You tell us. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it because of exams? Is it because of something else? We'll get to talk about later on, but I'm just giving you hints for you guys, to keep in your mind. So you can participate by a call via WhatsApp. You can send us a voice message. You can send us a text message answering or giving your opinion on tonight's topic. But we'll get to talk about a little bit, and I'll give you a chance to think and dial the number in. But substance abuse and other addictive issues are present in every society in the world today. You can't find a society free of drugs. Even with the most strict laws, there are laws around the world that if a person takes specific drugs, he or she are punished with death. Death sentence right away. The person is hanged. That's it. Yet, drugs within those countries are still there, and it's a very good business for some people. Now, a lot of people start when they were young, as I mentioned earlier, age of 13 to 14. And teens tend to fall into traps. When and where? I mean, you guys remember in like middle school or high school when it's like small drug dealers, or that friend of yours, your friend's friend who has a bit of weed, a bit of pills, selling to his friends in the bathroom sometimes. That looks like an Alif Araqi right there. In the bathroom, on the playground, like in that small corner where the kids smoke. So over there you find drugs. You guys probably remember that. But why do teens actually take drugs for? What's the purpose of that? Well, number one, it relieves boredom. People aren't bored anymore. Some drugs actually give you more enthusiasm and gives you more energy. Now, it makes the person feel good. And this is, if you ask someone who is abusing drugs or using drugs, he will tell you the same thing. It feels good. I take drugs and it feels good. Now, the other one, it makes him forget his troubles and relaxes him. Number four, it satisfies his curiosity. A lot of teens right now are curious. What does this drug do? What does the other drug do? And that's important. Now, I want Angel Jibra'il to bring me some juice. No, no. With that camera right there. I want Angel Jibra'il to bring me that glass of water. So, yeah, all right. Not Hassan Alaq, Angel Jibra'il. Anyways, another reason why teens take drugs is that it relieves their pain, as we mentioned earlier, and eases and makes them feel like they're grown up. You know, they're teens are always, as I mentioned, they're always curious to try out different drugs. And also when they see an older person taking drugs, they want to be like them. When they see somebody in a music video who's old and, you know, smoking weed, it's like that person right there. He wants to smoke weed. He wants to, you know, try those things out. But it also makes him fit in with a specific group of people. You know, the ones who do drugs in schools, they're like the most coolest people, or they can be the weirdest people. But it makes him fit in with that group, the cool group, within that friend circle. But anyways, there are a lot of, at the same time, when we talk about the different ways that, or the reasons why teens do drugs, there are risk factors that really that really affect their lives. But before that, we just received an audio message from
hello, my name is Charles Elton, and I'm from Yorkshire, and I wanted to say something about the teens taking drugs. It does take a huge help for lonely ones. You can't be in a rubbish family and just not taking some. Everything is stressful, home, university, classes, and yeah, life in general is a matter of stressful, and drugs makes it a bit useful, bit easy.
Wow, okay, thank you very much, Charles, for joining us tonight. But wow, he was probably high when he was saying that. But anyways, no, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But he does back up the idea that drugs do help kids. But we'll take a very short break. Quick break in 3, 2, 1. Once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, before that, we were listening to a voice message we got from Charles. I just got the pen. Charles, UK voice, EP9. All right. So, this right here. Oh, subhanallah. Oh, okay. So the name is going in because I feel like something's about to come to me. A revelation is about to come to me. Allah. Look at that glass. Filled with, what is this? Subhanallah. Oh, this is nice. Oh, this is good. This is good. Don't think it's something else. It's juice. All right, for everyone that's wondering, no, it's juice. But anyways, as we mentioned before the break, as we talked about the reasons why teens do drugs, there are risk factors at the same time and protective factors for drug use. Now, many factors influence teens' likelihood of getting into substance abuse, or drug use. Now, effective drug prevention have been placed for parents, for the caregivers to actually get into or get a child enrolled in them as well. Now, risk factors are circumstances or events that lead that child into taking drugs or taking other substances. The more risk factors, the bigger the chance that this teen will actually fall into this trap of drugs and taking drugs. Now, but before we get into the factors of why people take drugs, let's go and check out what the public has to say about tonight's topic.
Teens take drugs because they want to escape their reality, and usually, well, there's a lot of reasons why they take drugs, but one of the biggest reasons I believe is because they don't like the life that they're in and they want to get away, and that's the way they, do it.
Thank you very much. Tonight we only have one public opinion, but yeah, we thank you very much for the brother that joined us tonight. But before we were going into the public opinion and what he has to say, we once again we do remind everyone to call in and let us know what they think about tonight's question. Why do teens take drugs? Right there at the bottom. Why do teens take drugs? You can give us some of the reasons why teens, and we're going to go into them right now. The risk factors for drug use. Now, some of them are related to school. When a teen or a young adult fails or drops out of school because of his grades or because of some other circumstance, we'll get into that, they resort to drugs. Bullying. A victim of bullying or cyberbullying also might resort to drugs. Low self-esteem. That will also lead to drugs. Now, permissive parenting, and this is actually very important as well, because if the parent himself, another one is the parent or older sibling getting into drugs, these two themselves are using drugs, these two together are very important, because if the parent is letting the child do whatever he wants, then that's dangerous. At the same time, if the parent himself or herself actually is addicted to drugs or is addicted to alcohol, that will increase the chance of that child getting into drugs and getting into alcohol, because teens don't know what they're doing. They're imitating their parents. They don't have the experience that the parents have. So that's why they say, be a good role model for your kids. Living in a community with a huge tolerance for cigarettes, drugs, and alcohol, and this increases the level of youth being addicted to drugs. Now, attending a school, and this is very important as well. A lot of parents think that when they send their kid to school, that school is responsible for everything that their child does, which most of the time it's not. Some schools don't have strict laws on drugs and on cigarettes and maybe not alcohol, but on cigarettes and drugs, because they can smuggle it into school, sell it, smoke it, because they just roll it into a cigarette. And that's very important and very dangerous. But we just have received a text message from Zainab from Pakistan. She says, teens take drugs either because they are in the friends company who take drugs and find it cool, which is not, or due to the depression and that they can't share with their parents anything, so they choose to take drugs to make themselves feel good. Zainab from Pakistan, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Zainab, thank you very much. So Zainab, her message is going, or her name is going into the bowl. Now, to sum up everything, we have an expert joining us tonight, Sayyid Hussein Al-Qazwini, who has joined us once again in tonight's episode to let us know, why do teens take drugs? Let's see what Sayyid Hussein is saying.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين. So why do teens do drugs? Teenagers are usually very inquisitive, they're very adventurous, They're willing to try out new things. That period in their lives is a period of discovery. It's a period of teen pressure, friends putting pressure on them. So what happens is that a lot of teens, they begin to experiment. So some decide to experiment with cigarettes. Why? Because cigarettes are the cool thing to do. Adults smoke cigarettes, and most teens aspire to be adults, so they begin smoking cigarettes. But after a while, when that starts to seem boring, they want to experiment with something else. Of course, not all teens. There are teens that are raised in a proper Islamic manner. They have no interest in looking right or left. They follow the path of Ahlul Bayt. But there are many teens that have the inappropriate friends, friends that take them to wrong paths and invite them to make new discoveries and experiment with drugs. And so they do. And obviously, drugs are intoxicating. There might be some temporary pleasure and joy in such drugs. The problem is when they become addicted. The addiction of the drugs. And the drug turns into a problem, from leisure to a problem. Now they're hooked, now they can't leave. And it's the pathway to shaitan. If shaitan wants to destroy someone, then he takes them towards the path of drugs. So the easiest way is prevention. Prevention is better than the cure. Don't take this path from the beginning. And the best way is to avoid friends that are willing to take you to deviant ways. If you have friends, and usually those who do go into drugs, it's not because they saw drugs on the internet or on TV. No, it's usually because of peer pressure, because they have a friend that invited them, and so they go on. If you have such friends, shut them off immediately. A friend is a person who helps you in life, a person who takes you closer to Allah, helps you become a better human being, helps you in your education, helps you find a good job, helps you find a spouse. Not a person that's willing to destroy your life for the sake of their amusement, entertainment. That person doesn't want to be the only one doing drugs, so he wants to get you on board as well, so that you join him in that guilt. So you shut this person off from day one, and you learn to say no. As hard as it is, you have to say no. You have to say no. Learn to say no to such friends, and you will not regret it in the future. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi at-tahirin.
Thank you very much, Sayyid Hussein Qazwini, for joining us tonight. Inshallah, a lot of people will learn from that message right there, because as he mentioned, a leisure can turn into an addictive habit. Thank you very much once again, Sayyid Hussein Qazwini, for joining us again. Now, we are receiving a few Facebook comments, so we'll just read them out very quickly. Now, Farhad Azizi, he says, many teens use drugs because others are doing it, or they think others are doing it, okay? And they fear not being accepted in a social circle that includes drug-using peers, okay? Thank you very much. Farhad, your name will be written down. Farhad Azizi. All right. So, Farhad Azizi, your name will be placed into the draw. Another comment from Kulsum Naqvi. Kulsum Naqvi says because of depression, okay? Although it's a short comment, Kulsum, it's a short comment, but next time try a bit harder. Anyways, no, I'm kidding. Your name will still go in the draw. Naqvi. All right. Right there. Good. So we just received a text message from Razia from Norway. Razia says there are various reasons as for why teens take drugs. For instance, it could be because of the peer pressure, or they might be going through hard times at home or school. Razia from Norway, thank you very much for joining us tonight and letting us know your opinion. Razia. Text. All right. Oh, let me just write the episode number. All right. Thank you very much, Razia from Norway, for joining us tonight. Now, we have a video to sum everything up. Why drugs, who takes drugs, and what kind of drugs out there. So and actually very important, what to do to help your kids or those who are on substance abuse. To that video. Very informative video that we just got right there, and it talks about the protective factors of drug abuse, and how parents should actually teach their children, sit down with them, their caretaker or their caregiver, sit down with them, put them in schools that are less tolerated or more tolerated for drugs and alcohol. And that's very important for parents to take into consideration. Sit down and tell them how to say no to others when they're offering them drugs. Now we want to move on to go and check out the third segment for today. The third segment for today is the Islamic point of view, the Islamic opinion for tonight on why the teens take drugs. Now, Islam has given us a few points to follow as to whether or not teens should take drugs. Now, Islam forbids any form of intoxicants and relaxants. However, drugs used for medicinal purposes are allowed for medicinal purposes. So the different kinds of drugs that people take for medicinal purposes, if you have a disorder or if you have a problem, then you're allowed to take specific drugs. We won't mention all of them, but to all the youth that are just doing drugs just as a leisure, it's a very dangerous habit that you can fall into. It's a very dangerous trap that your friends are getting you into. So try as soon as possible to get yourself out of that situation, because really the near future will not look good for you. Anyways, be smart and do smart decisions. Thank you very much for joining us. It's Ahmed Ali, and suhoor time is almost up, so we gotta go eat. Take care. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.